Good evening, all of you. I'm very glad and particularly honored that all of you took the time out and heeded my invitation and came here to honor me and Kumar and the rest of the founding group who are joining us from Atlanta. Mr. Santhanam, he doesn't know me from Adam. I wanted to invite him, meaning to meet with him several times, but I couldn't. But we went up and asked him to, invited him to be the keynote speaker for one specific reason that I've been noticing all his activities as part of CII. I've been noticing all the good work he's been doing for skills development, and particularly in the area of education. So I thought it only fit that he represents the industry here today. Thank you, Mr. Santhanam, for being with us. We also have Professor Indiresan, who's been my friend, philosopher, guide, if that's a cliche. I mean each one of these words. Thank you, Professor Indiresan, for being here. He flew in only for this particular event. I'm glad to have him support this new venture of mine. I'd also like to welcome Ranjini Manian, who's graciously agreed to be on our Business Advisory Council. Thank you for being here. And for all of you whom I've not been in touch for a very long time, who took this invitation as a personal invitation and came here today. Welcome all of you. I'm going to briefly talk about how we came to be here today, okay? And then pass on to our friends in Atlanta, where a few others are joining us. Okay? As a matter of introducing the concept in the school, I thought it fit to title it the way I've done, let 1,000 business schools bloom. And by the time I've finished, you'll understand why even 1,000 won't be enough for this country. First thing, as most of you perhaps would know, I'm going to rehash some of the numbers. The kind of demand that India presents, not just in the matter of education, but it's true in every other field that we know of, but I'm going to focus on education. You know, this year, more than 300,000 students are looking for management education, making India the largest in the world in terms of management education demand as a marketplace, okay? And mark my words, in 2011, which is just 3 years or 2 years down the line, we will have 1 million candidates looking for management education. Okay, that's the power of people we have. But let's look at where we are in terms of being able to meet their aspirational demands. Okay, extremely limited supply. We have 1,500 plus schools that have been approved by the government, and only about 100 of them are of any quality that they get ranked in all the magazines year after year. So if you look at those 100 schools, they can meet only 5% of our demand, okay? And then if you look at all the 1,500 schools, they can't meet more than 40% of our demand, okay? Now, it's no wonder why, Mr. Simkin, you have all students lining up outside your office looking for visas, because we are not able to keep them here, okay? So hopefully this venture will keep some of that trouble away from your doors. So the biggest challenge, as we see how do we meet this demand and supply gap, the biggest challenge is not money, it's not physical infrastructure, it is just purely professors and professors and professors, okay? You ask any school, they'll tell you, we need more professors, we're not able to meet, okay? So what did we want to do? Okay, so some of us, that's myself, Dr. Kumar was here, we have the others joining in to video conference from Atlanta. We have Dr. Usha Raikot from Georgia Tech. We have Ram Sriram from Georgia State. There are a couple others who are not joining us. Verghese George, a good friend of mine who's in UMass Boston. So we put our heads together and said, if professors can own the school, then perhaps we can meet this challenge. Okay? Obviously, I can't meet 95% of the demand, but whatever little demand we meet, we should be able to address it well, because if professors start the venture, they will make sure it gets done. So our vision, therefore, is to set up a national system in India of business schools. Okay? And by that we mean over the next 15 years, which is a time horizon by which I will turn 65, okay, build out a system of 25 schools across the country. Okay? And by then, hopefully, this will be the largest business school system in the world. Okay? But that will take 15 years. So the founders are, as I said, myself. I used to teach at Rutgers University till I decided that the opportunities here are much more interesting than what I was seeing in New Jersey. Okay. Verghese George, who's at UMass Boston. Kumar, who's here, who's at Georgia State. Usha Nair Raikat, economics professor from Georgia Tech. And Ram Sriram, professor of accounting from Georgia State. We put our heads together and say, how do we address this situation? Obviously, the 5 of us are not enough to pull off such a huge venture. So what we did then to say, we need to set up the intellectual infrastructure. We don't need money, we don't need physical infrastructure. All that will come, but what we absolutely need is intellectual infrastructure. So we went and convinced another 60 plus professors, okay, to think like us, as crazily as we could think of, and got them involved. Okay. Once we got these 60 professors involved, then we went and met CXOs. Okay? So I'm going to come knock on your door, Mr. Santana, very soon to join our panel of advisors. So we got 20-odd CXOs to support this venture and said, you know, they will spend time. They said, we'll give you at least one full day in a year, not with me, but with my students. Okay? So then we said, if these things are done, financial resources will automatically follow intellectual infrastructure, and that seems to be happening. Okay? And thus was born the National Management School. Okay? And then we said, why don't we add something more to it? So we then got Georgia State to collaborate with us. So I'm very happy that Dean Huss is joining us over the video conference from Atlanta. Welcome, Dean Fenwick. I'm glad you're joining us this morning in spite of your busy schedule. I know this was very short notice for you. We could get this collaboration agreement going with Kumar, and so I'm glad Dean Huss is joining us. I'm going to now hand over, as it were, to Dr. Usha Raikat, who's at Atlanta, who will be the MC on that side of the table, or that side of the world, as it were. She will make the introduction of those who are there, and then the control will be handed over back to us here, where Kumar will talk about the collaboration that we have with Georgia State University. Thank you again, and welcome one and all.